Hi.
Hey, hello everyone. Marhaba. Welcome to our roundtable today. This is the DC Arabic Teachers Council roundtable with directors and managers of local businesses and organizations to help you plan an epic field trip for your DMV Arabic students. I'm Mimi Kirk with the Institute for Middle East Studies at George Washington University, which hosts the DC Arabic Teachers Council. And these workshops and roundtables are generously funded by Qatar Foundation International. Um, and I just have a couple of very quick announcements, and then I want to hand things over to our moderator today, who is Layali Eshqaidef. Um, First, we're going to be holding a day-long conference at Virginia Commonwealth University on Friday, May 2nd, entitled Building Bridges in Arabic Education, Research, Practice, and Innovation. It's going to feature panels on AI, assessment, and diglossic approaches to teaching Arabic. We're going to be sending out more details very soon, and we hope that you will join us. Secondly, I'll be sending out a brief survey after this roundtable to you all. It's just 3 questions, and we'd so appreciate it if you'd fill it out. It helps keep us accountable and plan for future events. And I now want to introduce our moderator, Layali Eshqaidef. As I mentioned, Layali is a DC Arabic Teachers Council Advisory Board member, so we worked together very closely. And she's president and founder of Kalima Programs for Arabic Culture and Arts. So Layali, you have the floor, and welcome again, everyone.
مرحبا أهلا وسهلا. Thank you so much, Mimi. I appreciate it. Um, I would like to welcome everybody. Um, I'm Layali again, as Mimi said. I am an educator in uh, Maryland mainly, but also DC, Virginia. We like to help kids love Arabic language through Kalima programs. I'm also, as you mentioned, serving on the advisory board of the Arabic Teachers Council for the DC area. And what this roundtable today is an idea that came up in one of our meetings, where we thought, we can help teachers who teach Arabic and, educators and administrators also as well to plan, field trips to the DC area where there are places and resources to help, bring the Arabic language and culture to life. So this is, the result of brainstorming among the teachers on the advisory board, and we're happy to, share with you 3 places in DC. In the Dupont Circle area, if you're in this area, you might know the DC area, Dupont Circle. So there are a lot more than it's not just these 3, but this is just a suggested um, like, maybe one field trip can be to these 3 places, which are the Museum of the Palestinian People and the Middle East Books and More, and Muncheez, Middle Eastern Lebanese cuisine, um, food, yummy food, I'm assuming that everybody would want to try as part of like the cultural experience of learning Arabic. So, I, Mimi, do you wanna, you have the introductions for our panelists? Bshara from the Museum of Palestinian People, and we have Jack and Tala from the Middle East Books and More. Then we have Ali from Muncheez, right?
Yes, thanks, Layali. I will put the just the short bios in the chat too. And so yeah, thank you so much. So I don't know that we solidified who was going to go first with the whole group, but Bashara, do you want to go ahead? Oh, I think you're on mute.
Yes, hi, sorry. Um, yeah, thank you all thank you Mimi and thank you Layali for having me this important discussion. And we would love to welcome your group to the museum at any time at your convenience. So just to clarify, how long do I have? Because I can speak for an hour, but so it's 10 minutes or more.
Let's start with like generally like about yourself and the basic idea of like the museum, and like maybe 7 minutes or so each.
Okay, and then we can come back for questions or.
Yes, we're coming back for questions and answers, and I'll show a suggested itinerary for a field trip to these 3 places.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, yes, thank you. So yes, my name is Bshara, and I am the founder and director of the Museum of the Palestinian People in Washington, DC. A little bit about myself. I grew up in Palestine. I grew up in Bethlehem, and I grew up also on a farm that's my family had since 1916, so over 100 years. And we have a big history of the farm and being present in Palestine. With being a family that's committed to preserving the land and preserving our heritage and preserving our food and culture and farming. And my family has been in that farm since the Ottoman Empire was there. And when you come to the museum, you will have like more clarity and more historical depth of who was in Palestine for the last 500 years, from the Ottoman to the British to now the Israeli occupation. But my family has been there, during these last 3 or 4 occupations that's been in Palestine. And since 1991, my family has been struggling to keep the land from being taken from them by the Israeli occupation, as they want to take the land and build a settlement. So this is where I came from, my background. So I really, growing up in Palestine, I established this mentality of like, I really want to educate people about what's happening, and getting inspired by my family who really been at the forefront of educating people. And I came to Washington, D.C. with that mindset to change, to do something that's different, to educate people about Palestine. And I as a tourist coming to DC, I was inspired by museums. I visited memorials and the different museums, the African American Museum, the Native American Museum. And I thought to myself, this is DC is such a diverse city, but we don't have a Palestinian museum. We don't have a place to tell our story. And that's how the idea started, is to have a place that shares our story and to share it from a Palestinian perspective, because there's so many people in DC who speak on behalf of the Palestinians, but we're making a statement that we are speaking on behalf of ourselves, and we are sharing our stories. So and especially that our story is always being minimized in the news. We are portrayed as victims, or we're violent, right? And so we started this humble effort by doing traveling exhibits around the country, and bringing artwork, bringing cultural materials, and bringing historical materials to educate people, but also to show the culture and the food and the different aspects of who we are as Palestinians. And it grew from there. We started our first exhibits actually almost 10 years ago. It was in 2015, and that continued to develop to a museum which we have on 18th Street right now. It's opened in 2019, so we've been open for almost 6 years right now to the public. And we offer a lot of programs, exhibitions. We actually have an exhibition starting on April 11th. So we would love to have you that on, and the title is Gaza Remain the Story. So we are addressing Gaza and the history and what's happening. Of course, we're all aware. But yeah, we're doing exhibitions, we're doing programs. There's a lot going on that we're doing an annual festival at the end of September, and to keep educating people and to keep really changing minds and hearts on Palestine and who we are as Palestinians. So yeah, that's I don't want to talk too much, but this is like a short introduction.
And thank you, Bshara. I just dropped the website of the museum in the chat for you all to visit. I could also share my screen just to show quickly how it looks on the front. The homepage of the museum. There is that's one thing we want to come back to with question and answers about the days that you guys are open, if the tickets are required to be purchased ahead of time.
Yes.
And some details for people who are planning a trip, and then I guess to contact you they would sign up here, or I'm assuming there is a contact.
To answer. Yeah, I'm happy to answer any question. And I also have a presentation. I'm happy to share some photos as well,
Okay, so let's hear from the other two places, and then we'll come back to your presentation, if that's okay. Oh, here. Sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
No problem. It's I just wanted to share pictures at some point. There's no rush.
Okay, shukran, thank you. And now Tala and Jack, if you can tell us, you guys are at the Middle East Books and More, which is a very nice bookstore, like right underneath the Museum of the Palestinian People, right? You were there first, I'm assuming.
Yes, yeah. So we actually have a presentation
Okay.
we'd like to share. Just a quick slideshow, if that's all right. Can you all see the screen?
Yeah, now we do.
Okay, great. All right, so we can go ahead and get started with our presentation. I'm Tala, this is Jack. We're both co-directors of Middle East Books and More, which is the largest collection of Middle East North African literature in the United States. This picture is from a busy time at our bookstore. It's a cozy small bookstore, but we definitely try to make it open to all of our community, whether local or whether it's people traveling from around the country or even around the world. Just a bit of background to answer your question about the bookstore. Middle East Books and More actually grew out of the Washington Report for Middle East Affairs, which is a magazine founded in 1982 in Washington, DC. And both Jack and I write for the magazine and also edit for the magazine as well. The bookstore is a nonprofit and was established in 1991 to meet the need for quality nonfiction and literature about the Middle East and North Africa. So personally, for me growing up, I wouldn't see a lot of books that were very representative of Arab, of the Middle East, including, fictional books, nonfiction books, even children's books. So it's very healing having a place where we're able to provide the public with that type of literature. And that was the idea of the initial founders back in 1991. And then back in August 2024, we're growing, we got a larger community. So we started renovating our space in order to expand. So we're currently in a cozier space next door. It's a bit small, but we're still able to attract a wide range of customers. And we're looking forward to the grand opening for our expanded space. But for now, we're just temporarily in that space, but also have an online store to make up for it. And we should come out with a grand opening date soon. And then right here on the right, this is a picture of our Washington Report magazine on Middle East affairs. You can pick up a copy at the Middle East bookstore, or if you're interested in being a subscriber, you can definitely feel free to contact me or Jack. Pass it on to Jack.
Hi there, I'm Jack. So as far as our actual book selection goes, we have a pretty diverse range of nonfiction, literature, and poetry on most countries in the region, including Palestine, Lebanon, Iraq, Syria, Egypt, Yemen, Libya, and other nations in the Middle East and North Africa. As far as the actual books themselves go, we try to. There's been a massive upsurge in interest in people who want to learn more about the region, kind of educate themselves about Palestine in particular, but also the region more broadly. So we've really seen, it's really been heartening to see how much people are kind of going out of their way to really sort of educate themselves. And we've been doing our best to kind of cater to that by keeping up with new releases of everything from poetry to books on Tatri's Palestinian embroidery, to the history of the region more broadly and U.S. foreign policy in the region. We also offer a selection of Arabic language and language learning books. So we have, typically our customers have really appreciated the poetry in Arabic that we offer, including some of the region's most prominent poets, including Mahmoud Darwish, Adonis, and others. We also have a website, so you can shop in our online store, and we ship nationally and internationally at MiddleEastBooks.com. As far as products beyond books, we have a section of imports from Palestine, including pottery, olive oil, and Tatri's embroidery. So you see on the left, we have imported olive oil, za'atar, soap, shatta, sumac, and other spices from mostly from Nablus and Hebron. And our two major brands that we use for them are Allard and Canaan. And it's also been a kind of interesting way to really show the kind of cultural heritage of Palestine, because there's been, rightly so, plenty of focus on the political and the occupation and the genocide. But I think it's also incredibly important to show that it's so much more than that. And we also try to highlight that through the pottery that we get imported from the Fakori pottery, from the Fakori family, which has a pottery factory in Hebron and the shop in East Jerusalem. So these are all hand-painted ceramics, including coffee mugs, bowls, coasters, etc. And it's been and it's also a great way to be able to actually support Palestinian businesses in Palestine, which I think is pretty desperately needed. And in addition to that, we've also been stocking Tatri's embroidery, which is we get from this Palestinian women's collective called Women in Hebron. We've been working with for some years, and they offer a wide range of purses, bags, handicrafts, and earrings, necklaces, all handmade by a collective of around, I think, 120 Palestinian women. And they've been in business for, I think, over a decade now. And it's been great to kind of be able to offer them that support, especially as they've been so impacted by the continued occupation and annexation in the West Bank. So in addition to that, we also host a variety of fundraising drives and fundraising events for charities and aid organizations focused primarily on Palestine, but also the Middle East more broadly. So in the past couple of years, we've hosted a range of sidewalk sales, fundraising drives, tabling events at other sort of venues around the DMV area, which has been able to help provide funds and proceeds to organizations such as the Middle East Shoulders Alliance, as well as UNRWA, the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestinian Refugees in the Near East, NARA, the American Near Aid Refugee Aid, the Palestinian Red Crescent, the Lebanese Red Cross, and the Palestinian American Friendship and Cultural Association. It's been really great to see how many people show up for these and how many people, in addition to benefiting from getting access to this literature that is not particularly widely available in the US, especially, while also being able to materially support these vital and critical organizations.
Thank you, Jack. And just to add on to the last slide, the reason mainly why we fundraise for these orgs is because not only are they desperately in need, but as Arab and as a Palestinian, they are doing us a service by rebuilding our country back home, right? So what they're going through, we don't want to make it seem like they are just victims, but mainly that they are resilient, that this isn't just merely charity, but they're suffering back home, and any one of us can be in their position. So we mainly try to center that in our messaging when it comes to fundraisers and supporting these charities and organizations. All right, so for looking ahead, this is the last slide, so just bear with us. So as mentioned earlier, we're offering a larger space. It's mainly for our community to build together, right? To provide a safe space for our community, also to be able to host more future events, including panels, cultural events, book talks, film screenings, book clubs, organizing meetings with different organizations in the area, and more, as well as, providing more art and collaborations with other orgs. We've collaborated a lot in the past with the Museum of the Palestinian People, which has been incredible, and we're definitely going to be offering our space to help them host their events as well, which we're looking forward to. And we also want it to be a space for other orgs as well. We understand that in DC, it's very difficult just to have a space given, the rent and the increasing gentrification. So we're really trying to make sure that people are able to have this space, even just to find community, just to talk about what's going on back home. And we'll also have a wider selection of books and items from the Middle East. So please, if you get a chance in the future, please feel free to visit us. We, try to make the bookstore feel like home, and you all are always welcome. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or Jack.
Thank you, Tala and Jack. That's amazing. And I definitely have some questions about this larger space. So we'll come back to that after we hear from Ali from Muncheez.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Mimi. Thank you, Layali, for having us. Nice to meet you, Tala, Jack, and Bshara. So, a brief description. So, my name first is Ali. Born in Lebanon, raised in Lebanon. Roots comes back to Palestine, for sure. So, brief description about our history about Muncheez. We opened our first location in Georgetown around 14 years ago. Started from that location. Our mission was just to have, everyone know about the culture, flavor, hospitality of Lebanon or the Middle East in general. From that location, we opened our second one in Dupont Circle. Muncheez now is serving both areas, cater to too many locations, starting from embassies to other locations or other places. Everyone try to reflect the culture in a way or another. Our way was by showing everyone our food. So, we have hundreds of customers from all over the community. Everyone asking about, how do you do that food? How do you serve it? What's the process? And while you are explaining all of that, okay, it comes to, of course, give a brief description about our culture as Arabs, the Middle East, whether it's Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, Palestine, all of us, we come all together. So, the simple way for us was just by providing, the meals that we do in Muncheez. And hope we are succeeding in the. I don't know if everyone visited Muncheez. I know Bshara does. Okay, and it's not about only serving food there, okay, but telling a story, and the story was about Lebanon in general, okay, or specific, then goes to other areas all around. I mean, that's what I can say about Muncheez. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer it also. Thank you.
Shukran. Thank you, Ali. I'll share the screen quickly to show the websites of the Middle East Books and More, and then the Muncheez as well. Let's see. Okay. So Middle East Books and More website. There's, some featured books here, as well as a lot of other things you can do. I love their pottery and the gifts. There are a lot of really nice gift ideas there. So for people planning field trips, they might want to check out, this website and offerings. And then I don't know if you have the prices on there, Tala and Jack, but that kind of could inform the students if they want to bring money to purchase things, like they might want to plan ahead and look at the website first and, plan accordingly. And then there's also Muncheez website. There's 2 locations. There's one in Georgetown, but the one that is close enough to the Museum of Palestinian People and Middle East Books and More is the Dupont Circle one on Connecticut Avenue. And I'll show you a sample itinerary, but this is also the rest of the Muncheez website. We can ask Ali if they need reservations, what capacities of the capacity of this location for like how many people they can sit there, or would it be on the go, and all of these really nice things. Let me come back here, and before we do questions and answers, let me show you a suggested itinerary for a field trip to all these 3 places. And I'll confess, I asked ChatGPT to help me with this. So I gave the locations to ChatGPT and asked it to come up with an itinerary. And here's what we have. I mean, with some modifications from my side as well, but this is, based on the assumption that it is a local school or college or something. So, like this is not set in stone. This is just suggested in terms of timeline and all of this, and the order, of course, of what to do first and second and third. But just keep in mind, Museum of the Palestinian People. I don't know the Middle East Books and More if you guys are moving somewhere else or you're expanding in the same location. But we have these 2 addresses that are on 18th Street Northwest, and
Yeah. So, oh, sorry to
yeah,
interrupt.
it's
So,
okay.
yeah. So we're renovating, but we're just right next door. So literally
Oh,
just
okay.
a centimeter over, in a temporary space until we're done with our expansion.
Okay, so your expansion is still within the same space, which is
Yes.
this
Yeah, it's
address.
within the
Okay.
same space. Mhm.
Okay, wonderful. So, so these 2 places are right on top of each other. We will ask Bshara to clarify things about, how to reserve ahead of time, what days field trips could be scheduled, and all of that. There is
You could come any time if you let us know in advance.
okay.
I would say month in advance if you want to come between Tuesday and Saturday. So we can welcome you basically any day.
Okay, very good. That's good to know. So the suggested itinerary goes into details about, arrive at the museum, get a guided tour, or I don't know if self-guided discovery is offered, or that's just ChatGPT throwing it in there.
Yeah, it is. You can just look around and do like your own without guided tours. But we prefer to give tours actually.
Okay.
And Tala is actually one of our docents. She's been
Oh,
volunteering with the museum for a few years.
that's amazing. That's good.
Yeah.
So I mean, I myself haven't been inside the Museum of the Palestinian People because every time I'm in that area, it's not your open hours, unfortunately. But I've been to the Middle East Books and More a few times. Is it like accurate to estimate like an hour and a
Yeah.
half for
Yeah.
touring the whole museum? Okay, and then there's an estimate of 30 to 45 minutes at the bookstore. It might, need more if you guys are expanding and, offering more there. And then it's a short walk from there to Muncheez. I've never tried it, so don't quote me on that. But according to ChatGPT and Google Maps, it's about a 15-minute walk. Of course, it depends on, the maturity, I guess, and the ages of the people in the field trip. You might want to plan accordingly, and it's suggesting budgeting an hour, I guess, of time to spend at Muncheez for lunch, and then it's suggesting finding a park or quiet space to reflect. For the students to share their thoughts, what they learned about Palestinian culture, Middle Eastern literature, journaling activity or a group discussion, about 30 minutes for that, and then depart. You might, in both the arrival and departure, you might want to budget time for traffic because it depends on where you're going, but I'm guessing from all sides around DC, there's traffic going into DC. So that's and then at the same time in the afternoon, the traffic out of DC might be like cumbersome. So take that into consideration. We can share this document with you to show you the map and then additional notes, budget, what like the students might want to bring with them for buying things, and how much would you say, Ali, they would be spending at Muncheez?
So anyone who's coming, okay, just let me know about it, okay, and we will have like, a 50% discount for everyone who's coming from you guys.
Ah, that's nice. Okay.
Okay. Of course, you know that Muncheez has halal food. Okay, so that's
Okay.
everyone will know it.
Good.
Okay,
Good.
we are certified. Also, we have the certification for halal food.
Mhm.
The only thing is the place is not that big, so 10 people can sit, not more. Okay, but of course,
Mhm.
everyone can stand around or outside Muncheez. Also, it's a beautiful area, and everyone is welcome at any time. Of course, we open from 11 a.m. till 4 a.m.
Okay, great. That's good to know. I'll show you also, according to this itinerary, the map, so that you kind of just have an idea. And people who are more familiar with DC than I am, I mean, I'm very close, but I'm not, I don't claim to know DC very well, but there's the two places, Museum of the Palestinian People, Middle East Books and More, are about north, a little bit northeast of the actual Dupont Circle, but this whole area is, Dupont Circle. And then this is the suggested walking path. There's also one that would, pass through the circle itself, which I don't know how safe it is in all cases. It's either a 5-minute ride in a car or a 13-minute walk. It's less than a mile to the Muncheez location over here. Okay, so let's come back to questions and answers, and we will open it up for everyone. I know I saw one question about transportation. I mean, that would be something that like people organizing the field trip would have to arrange. And keep in mind also parking is a bit of a dilemma in DC. So it depends on, how large your vehicle is. You really have some planning to do for all of that. And, the document I showed with the itinerary also suggests, like making sure you have like all permissions, waivers necessary. Transportation costs, you would have to take that into consideration if you're renting, transportation. Then also the parking might have to pay for parking. There isn't a lot of like free street parking or guaranteed parking. I believe for any of the places today, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. So it's, either you luck out with street parking or you would have to pay for a garage parking. Also, to other suggestions and things to keep in mind are chaperones, and that, like we'll have to go into planning for like how many people are going to be in there and the limit. Bshara, is there a capacity or a limit for how many people can be in the museum at the same time? Yes.
Yeah, it's we prefer not to really go over 30.
Okay.
So between 25 to 30 is really the maximum.
Okay. So if it's any larger than that, would you be able to like stagger it in terms of like, maybe one group can be at the Middle East books and more, and then, like alternate? Because
we
I
can
had
work with the Middle Eastern with Jack and Tala on that.
Okay.
And we can split the groups. We've done that before, where we split the groups.
Good.
But also, like the Middle Eastern bookstore, right now doesn't have a lot of space.
Right.
They haven't opened the new expansion place yet. So I don't know. Maybe they would fit 15 people in.
Yeah, I was gonna say the bookstore is kind of small. There's like a couple chairs outside so people can also hang out outside, and we have our used book section outside. But I'd say like the capacity for the bookstore right now, not huge, maybe like 10 people max. I think like sometimes we have more people and it's just, we kind of make it work. Hopefully, when are you all thinking of having this field trip?
It's not really a specific field trip, or this is just a suggested
Suggested. Okay.
Yeah, suggested like thing for people who are teachers, and it's not just the people who are present here now. This is going to be recorded and shared, so anyone who's interested in such a thing will probably refer to this roundtable for, ideas and information.
Great.
So if anyone in the attendance here has plans to do a field trip, you can share with us if you have like a date in mind and, how many people and all of that. Feel free to jump in and ask your questions. And there's another question. Would you show us the exhibits in the museum? Now, there's like for
I can show
well,
I can
yeah.
show her some pictures to Marwa.
Okay. Okay.
Let's just share my screen just briefly. Hold on. I can't share like everything, but there will be here. Do you see my screen?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is let me make it bigger. This is actually one of this is not at the museum, but this is one of our first this is our first exhibit ever, actually, where you see the paintings where we brought artwork from Palestine, from refugee camps, and we had one of the artists fly in from a refugee camp in Bethlehem to do a presentation about his artwork, and that was actually 10 years ago. But moving forward, currently today, this is the museum where it's located here. This is just a poster that was done by one of our artists about the museum. It's just a team. This was the renovation process. This is some of our early on exhibitions. where we did reimagining the future, and the sun of hope coming into breaking in, as a sign for freedom in Palestine. This was just a grand opening of the museum. This is actually right now one of our exhibits, one of our tours, where we show some of the artifacts and some of the images. We have 150 objects actually in collection in on the museum collection, and it's growing. It's growing to almost 200, and we've been researching and documenting all these artifacts that we're getting from Palestinian families around the country, and we're displaying, I would say, around 50 objects at the museum right now. We don't have space to display everything, but we're hoping that we're also going to expand and put the rest on the rest of the objects out. These are just the opening hours where we offer to the public tours Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We are open to the public. Other days we can open, but by private appointments for tours.
So for these hours, people can just show up or drop in.
Yeah.
They don't need to purchase tickets ahead of time.
No,
correct?
they don't. They don't. They just can come in. I mean, if you would like, to buy a ticket, that's fine. But if you want to just drop in, and that's between these days, it's also good.
Okay.
That's
Very
yeah.
good. And can you tell us the ticket prices also?
$10.
$10. Okay.
Yeah. So this is one of the actually exhibits that we had in 2022, and this is way before the war. This artist actually lost all her family in one of the previous bombings in 2021 that happened in Gaza, and she drew as trauma release and trauma healing to express her story. She painted these images. This is actually the section that we had on Gaza. We still have that at the museum. These are not up-to-date numbers of how many people were killed in the genocide, but these are just, we had a corner on Gaza, and this corner is going to expand into full-on exhibitions exhibition that's going to start in April 11th on the history, the art, the different aspects of Gaza, not just only focused on the genocide, but it focused on a holistic approach to what's Gaza, like just more historical information, cultural information, and featuring artists as well. This is it. Yes. I hope this helped and provided better.
Yeah, that's very good. Thank you. And in terms of the events, I know you guys had like a very big event last year around the same time. We had our summer camps, Arabic summer camps in July of 2024. So we couldn't coordinate a field trip because of everybody being so busy with your event. But how often do you have these events, and would anybody be able to be involved in these events if they want to, aside from field trips?
Which event you're
There was in July there was
the festival, yeah.
Yes,
yeah. The two-day festival for resisting cultural erasure. It was that we would love. We are looking for volunteers if you would like to be involved in organizing or being part of the team or just the day off. Definitely, that is actually our first ever big event like that we've done to share Palestinian culture, and we're going to do that same event. I mean, the second one because this was very popular. It's gonna be at the end of September.
Yeah, very good. Good to know.
Yeah.
How was the attendance? Was it mostly like local people? Were there people from out of town? I know the summer it's usually busy with museum visitors from all over, right?
Yeah, we
Is
have
that the case also for you at the
we had
yeah.
visitors from we have around 2,000 visitors who came to the event, and from mostly from in DC, but we had a lot of also from out of state.
Okay, very good, very good. And there's one more question. Could you provide an email so we can communicate? If you can drop it in the chat. And yeah, so what about everyone else? Like, do people have to let you know ahead of time? How do they contact you other than, basically the website? But like if there is a specific email to organize, field trip, kind of events, that would be great. And are there events on your calendar for Middle East Books and More that you would share with us?
Yeah, so we advertise events on our Instagram, and I will just drop our Instagram in the chat. So we right now, because we're not expanded yet, most of our events, we're usually invited to different events for different fundraisers or non-fundraisers as well. For example, this was a really packed weekend. On Friday, we were invited to Souk Social. They invited us for their Suhoor Social, which was basically an impromptu street market for Ramadan that was from 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. That was on Friday, so we helped with that. And then on Saturday, we did a fundraiser for Palestinian American Cultural Association, Friendship Association. And then on Sunday, we were tabling at a fundraiser for Birzeh. So right now, a lot of our events are at other places since our bookstore is very small, but occasionally we'll also still host fundraisers at our small bookstore and have sidewalk sales outside, and then donate a portion of our profits to a specific org. But definitely once we expand our space, as I mentioned before, we're planning on having authors come in, give book talks. We already have a list of authors that have reached out to us, a list of directors, a list of artists. So we're keeping them in our calendar, but we're not setting an exact date with them until we're done with construction, hopefully soon, inshallah, and we're able to pin down a grand opening date. And so I dropped the Instagram in the chat at Middle East Bookstore, and then also our email bookstore@wrmea.org.
Thank you so much, everyone. And if there's any other questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask. If you have any specific interest in any of these locations or anything else, there are, a lot of other places as well that could inspire Arabic learners. Not too many that are specifically about the Arabic language, but like we also had a suggestion about like a bookstore in Falls Church, Virginia, called Al Hikmah, which has a lot of Arabic books. So Middle East Books and More is mostly English books, right? About the Middle East and Arab countries, but you do have some Arabic books as well?
We have a wide selection of books in Arabic. We have a small section right now in our bookstore since we're a bit smaller, but the rest of our collection is online. And we are expanding our Arabic books selection definitely once we expand. But I've heard the bookstore in Virginia, Hikmah, I think I've heard great things about it. So I definitely encourage people to visit there as well.
And in terms
I'm
of,
sorry,
yeah,
um,
yeah, go ahead.
I wasn't there from the beginning, so I wonder what's the name of the museum and what's the name of the Dar al Hikmah?
The museum is called the Museum of the Palestinian People. I'll copy and paste the website again for you. And I think Mimi will share the recording also of this so that you can revisit like the first part that you missed. But this is just put in the chat the Museum of the Palestinian People website, mpp-dc.org. And the Middle East Bookstore has a website as well, but also they're on Instagram. And I'll put their website here again. And the Muncheez website as well. Muncheez has 2 locations, as we mentioned. Ali, did you share with us your contacts just so that people
let
can?
me share it as
Okay. All right. And any other questions? Like, did we answer you the names of the places? There's Muncheez is the suggested lunch location, but also there are other places, I believe, in DC that have Arabic and Middle Eastern food. Okay, very good, Mali, very much, and looking forward to visit both of these places. Very good, very nice. Anyone else has any questions? We only have a couple more minutes before we say goodbye. Has anyone been to these places that and would like to share anything specific, anything interesting?
I can share.
Yes, please.
No, I'm the organizer, but I'll just say that I think I've been to all of them, all of these places, and I really recommend a tour at the museum. I had a really good tour guide when I went, and I brought a friend. And then the bookstore just has a wonderful collection, as you've seen, I think, from all the photos and the presentation. And then, of course, Muncheez is delicious. So just to say, yes, that I'm glad that I can speak personally to all of these places, and it's a real pleasure to host you today. And I hope that the teachers will bring their students and friends and family as well, of course. Yeah. And Eid Mubarak too, very soon.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I was hoping that talking about Muncheez wouldn't make me hungry as I'm fasting. We're good. So far, we're good. So yeah, thank you so much to everyone. We appreciate your presence with us. I look forward to organizing our own field trips in the summer camps to all 3 places again. And it's good to know that Muncheez also caters. How far does Muncheez like deliver? Because like I'm in Maryland, and a lot of places in DC, they're like, no, they don't even want to try to reach Maryland.
That's one of the biggest problems that we face, but usually we go to a 3 to 5 mile radiations. But again, for anyone who is participating over here, okay, just let me know. I just sent my email over there, okay, and we are ready to provide, even if it's far a little bit, okay. So don't worry about it.
Okay, very good. واسطة هاي بالعربي ونحكي لها.
واسطة بالعربي.
شكرا. الواسطة ممتازة، وخصوصا thank you so much, Ali, for sharing that it's not just the food, it's also the story with the food. That's very important, because a lot of people can claim, like we said before in some of our previous webinars, there's the food is being claimed by so many different people, and now it's like I had a student, just to share a very interesting thing, like I had a student who said, oh, those fried balls about falafel, fried balls, I like those. And I'm like, okay, we need
That's
to
the falafel.
yes. So yeah, we need to put the name with the with everything, like the texture, the smell, like everything makes a difference in making, like, you know, educational, but also like a lasting experience to remember. So thank you so much to everyone. Thank you, Bshara. Thank you, Tala, Jack, Ali,
Thank
and
you.
all
If
the
you have,
participants. Yeah.
Thank
if
you,
you have any
everyone. Eid
questions,
Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak. Thank you, Layali. Thanks for moderating.
Shukran.
Thanks,
if anyone
everyone.
have
Eid
any
Mubarak.
questions, reach out to us and we
Eid
will
Mubarak.
have to answer.
Wonderful. شكرا جزيلا للجميع. Thank you, Mimi, for
سهلة.
putting this
شكرا
together.
لك.
Yeah,
Thank you.
my pleasure. Okay. يعطيكم العافية. Bye.
الله يعافيك.
Bye-bye.
الله يعافيك.